I'm gonna play this video clip for you, and then I'm gonna give my commentary, because trust and believe me, it is just looking at the video alone, many people are gonna already have their preconceived notions about what's going on and what you're seeing without knowing the full story.
Stop killing each other and let's press out these situations right here. This is 50 or 60 million.
No more work for them, huh, Taurean? Huh? No more work for them. It's over with. They look burned down. They look down.
We don't need in our communities killing each other. This is what we need to be doing every day.
Okay, so y'all just saw that video clip right here. And those of you who live in the DMV area, preferably if you live in like PG County or even in DC, because this is more pertaining to DC, there's a place in DC called Ward 8. There's 8 wards in DC. And Ward 8 is the predominantly black ward. And for years, Ward 8 was always seen as the ward that would get shut out of a lot of economic opportunities or educational opportunities. A lot of stuff they got shut out of. But when it was time to gentrify, that's when they decided to literally start to shift stuff around for Ward 8. So basically what happened in this video, and you can see right there in the caption, it says protesters tell Mexican workers to stop stealing their jobs. Basically, they set up construction areas and sites and everything like that in Ward 8. So the people who live in Ward 8 could get those jobs. But what they did is they made a loophole and they undercut the black residents there, and they gave all those construction jobs to Mexicans. So black people were not able to work. And then what happens is when you have situations like this, you have people come out and say black people don't want these jobs, or black people are lazy, or black people don't know how to fill out a job application, or black people don't do this and black people don't do that. This is why if you are a black person living in America today and you are for immigration, you need to go to sleep right now and stay asleep, and don't let another word come out of your mouth until you get your mind right. This is why. Now, if I didn't break down to you what was going on, many would come to this video and assume that black people are being discriminatory against these Mexicans who are working. That's not the case. They don't want to take the job out of their hands, but they do not want to be undercut either. Those construction jobs were specifically made for the black residents that lived in that ward. But they created, like I said, a loophole that undercut them from working and gave it to Mexicans. And by the way, to my knowledge, the Mexicans that were working here don't even live in Ward 8. So you literally went out of the ward for the jobs that was supposed to be given to the people that live there, and got people from a whole nother place and brought them in so black people could not work. And then they'll assume that black people don't work in construction. If you talk to True Royal Family, every chance she gets, she will always tell you about her background in construction and how many years she put into working in construction. And she can tell you some stories about how some of those Mexicans aren't the best workers. I'm not saying that all of them aren't, because a lot of them are. But that's always been a stereotype that they were harder workers than us or a lot of other groups of people. I cannot tell you all the anti-black comments I came across under this video right here, because it's on Twitter, but then I had to go on to Instagram to actually see the full story, and I'm gonna read to you exactly what it says and see all those comments from a lot of our so-called brown brothers and sisters. Like, they were saying all types of things like, oh, is this what BLM? Because I can't count how many times I saw BLM in there. I'm like, what does BLM have to do with anything? You heard people saying, well, it's Hispanic and Latinos and Mexicans out there marching on behalf of BLM, and it's the thanks we get. Fine, I won't be at the next protest. Good, I won't be there either. Like, I'm going to read to y'all some of the comments that they said. Then you had some black people who didn't know what the hell was going on saying, on behalf of myself, all black people don't. If you don't sit down and shut your mouth, because you don't know what's going on, clearly. So let me read to you what it says. Construction workers in Washington, D.C. were sent home today by protesters. They accused them of not being from Ward 8. Ward 8 is a section in D.C. where many residents are still unemployed. They upset businesses are hiring them for cheaper rates than them. Many claim that the protesters should take up their issues with the ones in charge of the hiring instead of forcing the construction workers to go home. And that's another thing that they do. They lower the rates of pay so the black people that are living there don't want to work for them, because they know that they cannot afford to make an honest living on those rates and those charges. So they say, oh, we'll set up a construction site here, and we'll say it's for Ward 8, and Ward 8 is like 90% black. By the way, it's majority black. It's like the blackest ward in DC. And we say, oh, we're hiring and everything like that. They go there and they probably, apply for everything. And then when they tell them the rates, they say, hold on, I can't survive on this. Well, then we can't hire you. And then what they do is they go and get Mexicans who are willing to work for those cheap, and I mean dirt cheap labor, and then hire them, and then come back and try to tell others and black people that they're lazy, that they don't want to work. They wanted to work, but they're not going to work for less than what they feel that they're worth. Who's going to do that? And then, like I said, they went and got outside individuals to come into the Ward 8 to work. I can see why they were upset. Granted, they probably was like, look, we didn't want it to come to this, but this has been something that has been festering over time, and they're fed up. They were tired of it. They couldn't take it anymore. So they did what they felt they had to do. And this is a rare occasion to see something like this, because usually a lot of people would just let this slide. To all of those who are from the outside looking in, you're getting a glimpse of the gritty side of DC. Now, I don't know if this is going to make the news or whatever or what have you, but something tells me if it does, they're probably not going to tell the right side of the story. And what they're going to do is they're going to try to paint black people as these bad individuals who are trying to be like white people. I even saw that one of those ridiculous comments in this comment section. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and read some of these comments right now. It's over 5,000 of them under the comment section. They said, folks don't understand half the shit wouldn't get done if it wasn't for Hispanics. On the behalf of blacks who stand with all Hispanics, we do not condone this behavior. How the fuck you telling them stop taking y'all jobs if you don't want to do them? So after the Hispanics had BLM's back, this is how you doing them. They just trying to feed their family. Unskilled, unemployed people get envious when they see skilled employed workers, people who mind their own business and just work. Go get a job instead of protesting. Mexicans work hard to be hearing this BS while they're working. Not trying to be rude, but honestly, Mexican workers are better than construction than Americans. And they say Black Lives Matter. That's why I don't support it. It's not our fault. We just took the jobs nobody wanted. On behalf of me and my black brothers and sisters, we don't claim them because for real, us blacks don't belong here. Them folks working to support their family and y'all hating that hard. That's why BLM is a joke. I love my Mexican people. This is not okay. These are the same people waiting for a stimulus check. I bet nobody there knows how to use a hammer. If y'all stop stealing and having bad records, then maybe you could get a job. Don't be aiming for my brown people while we work hard as fuck. They need to leave them alone because they don't even want the job. Someone called, if you saw the black woman that's in the video, they called her a black Karen. I ain't supporting this one. I fuck with Mexicans. Take it out on the employers, not the employees. But if they start working, they're going to lose their Section 8 food and stamps and food stamps and on and on and on and on. But do you see those type of comments? I tell you, they let their anti-blackness come right out when they talk about food stamps, Section 8, being lazy, you know, the typical white talking points that we've been hearing from Palm Color for how many years? Again, if you only went off of just this video and did not know why they were doing that, you would assume that everything that people said in the comment section that I just read was valid. Those people want to work, but they were undercut by the city by trying to make them work for very low wages that they know they could not live off of. Especially in construction. Construction is a very, very dangerous job. And living in DC is not cheap, even if you are in Ward 8. But it's all a part of the gentrification process. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if you are a black person and you support immigration, this right here, what you saw in this video and what I just explained to you is what you're going to have to fight against. This is what you're going to have to compete with. And it's going to be hard. Why do you think a lot of people are now going into online businesses and working for themselves? Because that in that arena, 9 times out of 10, you won't have to really compete against anybody. You just accept yourself and you be going off of your own work ethic. Especially in this age of automation being on the rise. It's here. But I hate that they took this right here and misconstrued it because they wanted to make their anti-black statements be heard so loud and far. Because for so long, we've always had the label of being lazy, of not working, being shiftless, and all types of other things. All because they see Mexicans planted everywhere. How do you think they got there? Yes, black people do want to work. Yes, there are some black people that don't want to work. But guess what? There's also some Mexicans, Hispanics, Latinos, however you want to put it, don't want to work either. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. I wanted to add this one last piece in here and shout out to this person whose name is @Kendra's username. Like, she clarified this whole thing up like I did previously in the video, but it's actually going to point something out. This isn't a true story, y'all. This is literally on my block. The construction company is contractually obligated to hire Ward 8 residents. The key word there is contractually, which means it's on paper that they have to hire people in that area, but they didn't. I say the people that was protesting, that they take this up with whoever drafted that document up and sue their ass for real. Because they basically kept income out of their pockets. And like I said, Ward 8 has been neglected for years, not just on jobs, but also education and a whole bunch of other things. I've talked about it, maybe not on my channel, but now y'all are getting a glimpse of how this is. But this could actually translate to other predominantly black areas, which they would consider to be low income earning areas or urban areas. You know, the usual code words that they like to give out. Ward 8 is 90% black. I said that earlier. They loopholed their way out of it. That's why people are protesting. Now, good thing she came out and said that, because a lot of people was going in. And remember what I was reading those comments? I'm glad that this post right here that came from this person named My Mixtapes, they kind of clickbaited this thing. And that's where, when I was reading the earlier comments that was coming off of Instagram, that's where those anti-black racist comments came from, mainly from the Hispanic Mexicans who have, you know, the brown people, you know, the whole black and brown coalition that doesn't work. They literally got baited into showing their ass through this. And when she corrected it, it was like, oh, like a come into Jesus moment. At that point, they knew they effed up. But I'm glad that it was this original post was clickbait, because now we saw them exactly for who the hell they truly are when it comes to us. Their mindset is almost on par with how Palm Colors is when it comes to us. That's it.